start. This committee was to submit its report on the first day of the 85th session of the Rajya Sabha, that was in 1973. But this committee had to be granted 3 extensions, and the report was ultimately available on the 3rd March 1975. At that time, as we all know, the so-called JP's movement of total revolution was at its peak. Within 2 or 3 months, the national emergency had to be declared, and during the emergency, priorities had changed, and we could not just effect this desired improvement at that time, and we could not bring about this legislation. And then the Janta rule and the Lok Dal rule. For 30 months they were in power, but they too, although they tried to pose to be the champions of the downtrodden, and the workers failed to deliver the goods. And that is why today we are going to consider the report of that committee that was presented to the government in 1975. Therefore, we are also equally responsible for not ameliorating their conditions and their plight. The committee had to consider 120 memoranda giving views and suggestions from various unions and associations, and 59 witnesses appeared before the committee, and that committee itself came to the conclusion that in various areas, even the barest minimum facilities, such as arrangement for supply of wholesome drinking water, latrines, urinals, provisions of qualified doctors, had not been provided, though these amenities are a must under the Act. The Act has been there, but we could not enforce it, we could not implement it, only because the employers did not want it. They did not want to give to the workers due justice. Inadequately of punishments that are awarded under the Act is one of the main impediments standing in the way of implementation of various welfare measures. Courts generally take a lenient view of the offences under the Act, and they let off the employers who are offenders with lighter punishment, which generally amounts to a fine of rupees 100. So the committee suggested amendment to Section 36 of the Act. An employer is required to provide these workers living accommodation, but generally, in spite of the fact that the government gives loans and subsidies to the employers for construction of houses, progress in regard to these constructions is very poor. As I said earlier, very unhygienic and insecure houses are there where these people have to live. Even compensation to the workers in the event of house collapse is not given. Over.